In part 3, let's dive into the vetting of female relationship coaches and therapists as it connects back to the Kahn story. Specifically, how men can stop mistaking women's self-designated authority for evidence of positive outcomes. Listen, it's not enough to stop listening to the social media relationship gurus. We also need to learn how to vet those people. Because as long as we keep handling our trust to a hot chick with a nice rack and an attitude, we'll keep falling for the same gimmick. And Sadia Kahn is not the first, and she won't be the last. And that's the problem. It's not just her. It's the way that men choose who to trust. Let's quickly recap. Sadia Kahn charged $6,000 for coaching services, and men signed up in droves. They paid that high price tag, and they thought that what it meant was high value. And it worked for her. But how many of those men that gave her cash stopped and paused to ask, does she even have a license? Does she give me the outcomes, or can she give me the outcomes that she says? What's her training? Where did she get her education? What's her track record? These should be the basics of discernment when selecting a coach or a therapist. But Sadia and others, they still get away with it. And why does that happen? It happens because, I believe, as I mentioned in parts 1 and 2, desperation and perceived authority blind men who hand over cash to those types of women. And listen, I can speak to this personally. Several years ago, I was required by a woman that I was with for about a year and a half to attend couples counseling. This woman was, in reality, addicted to therapy. She had been going for 15 years, nearly half of her life. And she was a lifetime client of a specific therapist. This therapist that she wanted me to go to was a licensed marriage and family therapist with a master's degree and probably about 5 years of professional clinical experience. She was about 29 years old. At the time, I was 39 years old, already divorced from an 11-year marriage with 3 young daughters. And as a psychology doctoral student at that time, I wanted to understand this 29-year-old therapist's approach, including her training, where she got her degree, and any biases that she might bring to her therapeutic approach. So I asked her for a copy of her master's thesis. Not because I was trying to embarrass her, but I needed to know what shaped her thinking. And she flat out refused. She questioned me as to why her master's thesis might matter in my therapy, in this couples counseling that I was dragged to. And in that moment, when she refused to give it to me, and made me feel bad for asking, it was clear to me that the system was not designed for me to be informed of my own outcomes. I was expected to trust her title and to obey the process that she developed and that she wanted me to follow. That refusal in that moment told me everything that I needed to know. And it's my lesson for you. If somebody resists basic transparency and accountability, then they're not the person you should be trusting with your life or your mental health. But listen, this is not just about my personal story, and it's not about just Sadia Kahn and her problem and her debacle. It's not even just about one bad therapist or therapists in general. As I explained in my Gavin Newsom deep dive a couple of weeks ago, therapy is dominated by women. And many are not even trained to understand how men operate. Now, I'm not saying that to mean that every female therapist or coach is bad. But it does mean that the risk to you likely is not worth your livelihood. And if you don't learn to grab your balls and speak up and ask questions, or to even demand evidence of qualifications or outcomes, you are getting yourself set up to be exploited. That said, here's my framework for you in 4 steps. Number 1, get credentials and a track record. Do not just take or accept coach, therapist, or whatever they call themselves at face value. Get proof. Number 2, demand transparency. If someone that you're working with is not willing to tell you how they work, what they believe, or where they were trained, that's a big problem. Number 3, observe how that person responds when you ask questions. Listen, defensiveness is a huge red flag, and it's very observable in that moment. A good coach, a good therapist, a good mentor, a good leader, they will always welcome your questions and be happy to accommodate. And number 4, separate presence from evidence. This goes back to part 2. Social media clicks, flashy branding, big promises, none of those are signs of qualifications. What they are is marketing strategies that are designed to remove your cash from your wallet and leave you in the dust. So the ultimate lesson is that you control who pops up on your feed. You can control the algorithm that's pushed to you. And you absolutely can control your own judgment, whether it's online or working with a therapist who has a PhD and 3 certifications in 15 states. You can also decide who gets your money, your trust, or control of your future and your outcomes. But if you don't vet that service provider, you'll keep falling for the next Sadia, the next confident voice, the next chick with a nice rack who claims to be certain but has nothing solid to offer.